Adolis Garcia is a free agent. Will he be a White Sox? We'll talk about it today here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. Welcome into the CHGO White Sox podcast, coming to you live from Studio West of our CHGO offices in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Anderson, alongside me, Joey Christopoulos, my producer. Not only are we going to be talking about Adolis Garcia, the new free agent on the market, but we will be taking you through a tour of Studio West because people are very upset that there's no White Sox in the back mural, but there is. So we'll give you the tour, okay? It's going to be very iffy. Joey's going to man it. It might be nauseating for some podcast listeners, but we have to prove that there are White Sox people at least behind me. So we'll talk about Adolis Garcia. We'll give you the house tour, Sabrina Carpenter style. And then we will talk a little bit about the 2026 ZiPS projection for the White Sox that was released by Fangraphs today. And we'll also talk, there's one other thing. Rats. Tatsuna Imai. The White Sox, 0% chance to sign Tatsuna Imai. Went from 0% to 1% today. So
ooh, 1%. Nice.
1%. There's a dog in the studio as well. So
Tatsuna Imai fan.
Good time. No, it's all fine. Hey, sometimes there's dogs in the studio. Joey, why don't you get behind?
We also have a dog in the chat too. Eric-B3Q3B says they should pursue him. Yes, but will we? I don't know. I hope so.
I hope so too. Eric/Nick's Airbud. Kind of very similar to the dog that's in studio today. The dog in studio is a little bit more whiter.
Have we seen them in the same place at the same time? I don't know.
As Airbud or the dog?
I don't know. We haven't seen Kaylee. Kaylee went away and then was typing on a computer, the dog that's in here today. Maybe making comments as Eric-B3Q3B?
And yes, we are saying there's a chance. All right, Joey, Periscope style on the submarine. We're going to take people through camera too, okay? So hello. Here's Sean. This is me. And the big thing that I'm obviously blocking is the big hurt. So Frank's behind me. There is a White Sox player on the mural. Not only a White Sox player, but the White Sox player. So Frank is mainly just blocked by me on the first shot. So that's one White Sox player. If you're frustrated that there's more Scrubs players, sure. There's Ernie. There's Harry, who's both Sox and Cubs. He's more Chicago. But there's Ernie. I think there's Santo, obviously, over there on the far. And then there's a celebration of the 2016 team. But go up. That's the one thing, too. We're solo on a one person. When it's three people, you can kind of get the whole idea of the mural. But you can see there, next to the 2016 Cubs team, is the 2005 World Series team. So there is two White Sox pieces, along with the CHGO White Sox logo on this mural. That's the top of the mural. Mostly gets cut off on the one screen on the solo view. But, we made it on there. I didn't make sure that they forgot about our White Sox, okay? This isn't ESPN. We got you covered, White Sox fans. So though you don't see it, doesn't mean it's not there. So we do have Frank Thomas on the mural. We do have the 2005 White Sox World Series championship team on the mural. The big thing is that this is a one-person set, and when it's a one-person set, you really can't see the whole mural because we got all this back there. Fun fact, that little dancing bear guy, he sings the Hank Williams Jr. Monday Night Football theme. He's mine. Just
Are you ready?
Are you ready for some football? Yes.
I was Hank Williams for Halloween once.
You were?
Yeah, it was great.
Oh, do you regret it?
No, I just sang like Hank Williams all night.
Were you like a kid?
Are you ready for some bean dip?
Was it pre-Obama's presidency?
Oh, it was a while ago. He also got in
trouble.
trouble. Yeah, he got in trouble for some comments and things. This was pre that time.
It was weird. All right. Segue. Time to talk about Adolis Garcia. The Rangers are cutting their budget. You saw the Marcus Semien trade likely, where Semien is now a Met. Brandon Nimmo is a Ranger. It seems like the Mets are likely taking on Some of that money, it didn't seem like there was more players attached, so we're not sure what the true money split is. But Semien makes more money than Nimmo, so salary cutting from the Rangers. Garcia, part of it. Garcia hasn't been playing like great, so it's not the craziest thing that they cut him for the amount of money that he was going to be making. But Garcia in 2023, 14th in MVP voting, a 127 OPS plus. The past 2 seasons haven't been kind to him. 98 OPS plus and a 93 OPS plus. But the main reason I'm going to sit in front of you right now and pretty much say the White Sox should at least be in on Adolis Garcia is the fact that his defense is phenomenal. He's got an incredible arm. And my guy, Alex Rude, tried to frame it in a very disgusting, hateful way. He said Adolis the last 2 seasons, 225 average, 278 on base percentage, 397 slugging percentage, and 89 weighted runs created plus with a 6.2 walk percentage to a 26.4% K rate. Benintendi the last 2 seasons, a 234 average compared to the 225 average, a 298 on base percentage compared to Garcia's 278, Benintendi's 412 slugging percentage compared to Garcia's 397. Benintendi has a 9-point higher weighted runs created plus, 98 to Garcia's 89. The walk rate's about 2% higher for Benintendi, and the K rate is near 9-ish% lower. So comparing him to the guy that I hate, the guy that I despise, the guy that I continually bring up and try to slander his name, has been better than Adolis Garcia. But the big but is Garcia's ability to play right field, a position that the White Sox do not have right now. And Garcia, although not hitting at the plate, a fantastic fielder. I think he was top 10 in defensive runs saved this year, even higher than your guy, Joey Christopoulos, Pete Crow Armstrong. Armstrong, phenomenal defender in center field, one of the best, and Garcia able to beat him when it comes to defensive runs saved. I think that it's unlikely to happen. Most of the people in the chat saying, so you're saying there's a chance. I think also the Airbud Nick Dog saying they should be in on him. Hope they're in on him. I hope so too. I think that Garcia is somebody worth kicking the tires on. Joey, I sent you one graphic. I don't know if we have it. It's the damage that Garcia is able to produce. It's from not that Robert Orr, Bobby Orr's damage shiny app. And you look at Garcia's damage from 2022 to 2025, damage per batted ball event, and this is percentile in Major League Baseball. Garcia in 2022, 94th percentile. Garcia in 2023, 92nd percentile. Garcia in 2024, 89th percentile. 2025, 72nd percentile. So a huge fall off from his top in 2022, where he was at 94th percentile, down to 72 percentile, a 22% difference. The 90th percentile exit velocity, that was 91st percentile in 2022. It has slowly fallen from 89 to 84th to 75th. His max EV has fallen. This is where it gets a little bit iffy because you kind of make the argument that the power might still be there. In 2022, max EV of 89th percentile, 2023, 96th percentile, 2024, 98th percentile. So even though he wasn't performing well in 2024, he still does have some pop. And then 2025, back to 2022-ish, 86th percentile. Pulled fly ball percentages has been consistently around the 60s, 68th percentile, 62nd percentile, 62nd percentile, and 67th percentile. So consistent with pulling his fly balls. And then the Seager rating, 54 percentile, 89th percentile, 83 percentile, 53 percentile. A player that reached their bottom in that Seager rating, but still showed the ability to be 30 points higher than that. I think it's somebody that, even though the bat speed has gone down, the White Sox should be kicking the tires on. The bat speed has gone down since 2023, 73.6%. 73.6 mile per hour was his average swing. That was a 71st percentile. 2025, bat speed 49th percentile, around 72.1 miles per hour. You also look at the fast swing rate. It was a 38.4%. That swings above a 75% mile per hour bat speed. This year, 25.3%, so nearly a 13% difference. So he's not, in a way, the same athlete. You could question that. There's several factors in play. They won the World Series. How hungry necessarily were they? The Texas team has always been very weird, where even the year that they won the World Series, it was kind of getting into the postseason by the skin of their teeth. It seems like the team that kind of turns it on in August and September. I don't know if we've seen enough from Adolis to write him off, I guess. I think that although the number might be around $15 million, the Sox can spend that on a 1-year, 2-year option. You can give him the Martin Perez buyout for 2025 to just, guarantee him $3 million next year. I think it's very worthwhile for a player that, if he does perform like he did in the first half, is a for sure trade candidate, a for sure guy where you can immediately add to 2027, 2028, 2029, and beyond with a somewhat decent, package return. We have our guy KJ Russ 13 in the chat saying, if it's a 1-year deal for about $17 million, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But let's be real, no need to sign him if they aren't signing pitching to make this team competitive. I hear you. The pitching thing it's on Brian Bannister. Like, we've seen teams be able to be places for reclamation projects. So Brian Bannister's even said it himself, like, if the White Sox are going to have success like the Rays and Brewers, they need to do their job, where they're getting Garrett Crochets and then are able to turn them into other prospects. So it's not really on them going into the free agent market to do damage pitching-wise. Like, the Brewers really don't do that unless they're getting a Jose Quintana for $5 million to throw him 100 innings. I don't think that we should be looking at the White Sox signing pitchers as, the weathering, the sounding bell for this team doing decently. Them going out and getting Garcia is them, again, trying to make an investment. There's not many investments on this team outside of Luis Robert Jr., and that's more of a gamble rather than an investment. I think with Garcia, you get a really solid base of a good defender. You get a player that's leaving Texas that has had some negative park factors. You look at his home and away splits, it's not that much different. It's around a 70-ish OPS. In 2024, he was better on the road. It was like 730 compared to 600s. But I still think that, $17 million might be a little bit too much, but $15 million is a spot that it's a well worth price, but it's a spot that they need to fill. Right field, it's either you sign somebody. I had Randall Grichuk in our offseason project plan. Some people like Mike Yastrzemski. Ryan O'Hearn has the possibility to play a corner outfield. Like, they're going to add an outfielder. If it's not him, it's Brooks Baldwin. And Baldwin, I think, is a very worthwhile utility piece, but he's not a starting outfielder. He's not a starting right fielder. There's the Zips projection that we'll get into. My guy Alex Rude sent him over, and Brooks Baldwin's tied or in second for highest OPS plus or WRC plus projection for the 2026 White Sox and Zips projections. Like, that's like a really high bar for Brooks to be around 100 weighted runs created plus playing possibly starting right field. Like, I don't think he's a good enough defender to play every single day. I think his value is seen in playing multiple positions, being kept at, away from a single position. They need, I think, to sign some right fielder. And if it was Garcia, I'd be thrilled. I think it's a sign that they are at least serious about taking chances, right? Like, it's not just going by shoestring budgets. If they were able to give $15 million to a player that they thought, hey, we can make an investment into, I think that would be a great sign for the Sox. Will a team that needs an outfielder, maybe like the Mets who just got rid of Nimmo, do they see $15 million as nothing in signing Garcia for that? Sure. And I don't think the Sox are winning a bidding war, but if the Sox see him as an investment, which I think they should, the $15 million number, $17 million number doesn't really matter, because if he is performing to where we think you could, to where he's an above 100 OPS plus, which he's not super far away from, I think he still has some power to tap into that. They should be able to flip him for something. There was also some first half numbers for him. The second half wasn't kind to him, but when looking at his first half, and this is from Chris Coop at Yankee Stats, the first half, Garcia was 93rd percentile in air percentage. Second half, he was 21st percentile, so started just hitting the ball into the dirt. We've seen that before. And then his Z-swing was the 70th percentile. His O-swing was 90th percentile, so that's not great there. That's kind of that Seager stat. He was actually better in the second half at swing decisions. so maybe he needs to be a little bit more aggressive, but he's able to bear up balls decently. He's able to hit the ball hard. I think it's a guy that's worthwhile that, if he hits 20 homers in the first half, it's an easy sell-off. And if you waste $15 million, well, Andrew Benintendi's in left field as well. So at least he'll have a buddy. And again, the defense gives you that floor where he was a 2.7 WAR player even with his terrible offense. I think there's something there, but we'll figure it out. All right, we're going to take a break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. If you have any thoughts, let us know in the chat like KJ Russell. If you have any thoughts on the White Sox, let us know. We're here to chat with you for the next 30 minutes here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. We want to let you know about our friends over at Sunnyside. We're very happy to be talking to you about Sunnyside. Head over to sunnyside.shop and use code HICHGO for 50% off your first 3 online orders. If you are a new customer, it is the best promo code out there. Returning customers use promo code CHGO50. Exclusions do apply, but our friends over at Sunnyside Dispensary are here to elevate your football season. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free shopping. They have a crazy selection with over 100 different strains to choose from with an easy online ordering and in-store pickup. You can walk in, also be helped out by their very knowledgeable and kind bud tenders. Wherever you are in Illinois, Sunnyside has a location for you. They have spots as far south as Champaign and as far north as South Beloit. So stop into the store nearest you for expert guidance from their staff. Head to their website for bright buys every day, again, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Use promo code HICHGO. Returning customers, use code CHGO50. Exclusions do apply. Sunnyside Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Whenever the Bulls are in NOLA, it's never ordinary. We have a Bulls game tonight that you can put some money on. There's also a Monday night football game that you can put your money down on. And there's a great offer from Bet365 because there's a Monday night football game. You could take advantage today by using code CHGO365 when you sign up. You bet $5, you get $150 in bonus bets when you do sign up and make your first wager of $5. But there's a 50% super profit boost token on same game parlays tonight on Monday Night Football. I believe it's the San Francisco team versus the Carolina team. Carolina's in San Francisco. What a matchup.
Niners for the Panthers.
Yeah, there you go. Breaking news from Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Win or lose, sign up using code CHGO365. Deposit $10 and place a bet of $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at our friends over at Bet365. Must be 21 plus. If you or someone who has a gambling problem, crisis counseling, and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in-app only. Also, even those numbers that I'm bringing up about Garcia, where his damage is in like the 70s or so, like that's still better than what Lenyn Sosa gives you. Like the numbers aren't pretty for Garcia. I think that there's a top end that he's missing and could possibly tap back into, but the base that he gives you defensively is something that I just find extremely tantalizing, and that's probably why he's going to be signed by a team that might be in postseason contention. Because $20 million for like 1 year, that guy, it's not the worst signing.
No, it's not. It's just the swing and miss is getting a little eye-popping. Like, I think for a fan on a day-to-day level, if you're cool with a guy that's probably going to K 150 to 170 times and maybe only walk 20 to 35 times a year, that can get a little grating from a fan perspective. But he's only 32 years old, and you're right, man. A couple years ago, this guy can be like a complete RBI machine. And if you're looking for someone, just again, we're looking for someone to put into the lineup that's a professional to sort of insulate some of the burden with the young core around it. I don't know. I think you could do way worse than Garcia, especially like just imagine him like hitting 3-run bombs in the first inning and getting you kind of up, and then all of a sudden Kyle Teal's touching home plate, Colson's touching home plate, Garcia's touching home plate. There's value to that for the Sox for sure.
And I've talked with Lenyn himself, the K to walk ratio being horrendous for Lenyn having like a 3% career walk rate, which is slightly better than Livan Hernandez and Greg Maddox's career walk rate as hitters. Those are pitchers, by the way. Like Garcia in 2023 had like a middle of the road chase percentage, and that's really fallen off in 2024 and 2025. If he's able to avoid swinging at those pitches outside the zone, which, might not be possible, is the reason why he kind of had a delayed progression and delayed start to his career where, St. Louis got rid of him, and even Tampa got rid of him, right? I'm thinking of Rosarena.
Yeah, you're thinking Rosarena.
Yeah. So, but still, Texas was able to get Adolis to finally pop when he was around 28-ish, right? Yeah. I mean, came out in 2021 and had a 3.9 WAR, 3.7 WAR season, 4.5 WAR, and then fell off in 2024, 0.3 WAR, and then 2.7 WAR. But even then, I mean, you look at his ability since 2021. He's played a ton of games, 742 games since 2021. I don't think that this is a signing that if the White Sox were able to pull off, they're having it ruined by injury. Knock on wood, but he's been fairly healthy throughout his career. It's just mostly about the performance on the field. Joey, are there any comments that are popping up? Anyone have any thoughts on Adolis Garcia? There we go. Months behind, coming back and saying, tell us breaking news. The Sox signed Pete Alonso. It's with an S. So maybe they did sign Pete Alonso with a Z. Maybe there's a different Pete Alonso out there and just a different family that spells it Alonzo, like Alonzo Mourning. And I agree with Eric. And Brooks is a fourth outfielder, but he's not even a fourth outfielder. Like Gene Watson, our guy, brought it up. He said Ben Zobrist. I didn't say it. He said it. Zobrist wasn't an outfielder. So I think it's more of, utility place. TS said, I'd like to see Baldwin get a real chance for at least 5 weeks in the outfield. Utility guys are great, but we really don't need 12 utility guys. We need professionals with the passion to win. Well, yeah. I mean, I think we're not talking about Baldwin's professional ability or passion. I think the reason he sticks out as the utility guy is because he can do it all. There isn't a utility guy on the White Sox right now that can play infield and outfield. Like, Meade's not doing it. They stopped putting Vargas in the outfield. Mydroth can't do left or right field. Like, the only guy that can do outfield and infield right now is Baldwin. He is the only true utility guy. I mean, they could try Lenine Sosa in left field. I don't think it's going to work out for them. But yeah, I don't love that thought there, because I do think that Baldwin is a better utility guy, or at least a guy that might have the true future of can do it all, and that is somewhat unique. I mean, the Cubs went out and traded for that guy at the deadline in Willie Garcia, and Garcia played. It was one of the only players to play like every position, or like all 5 of them pretty much. He played third, second, short,
Willie
left,
Castro,
right, center. Yeah, Willie Castro.
You said Garcia.
Yeah,
We've been talking about Garcia.
Adolis Garcia. Yeah, but Willie Castro, Twins legend. I think that, there's not a lot of guys like that, where Baldwin, with a 102, I think it was a 102 weighted runs created plus in the second half, like him doing that at 5 separate positions is huge. I'll try to find out like which players in 2025 specifically played those positions. But yeah, I think that you really can't write off Brooks I as a utility guy. I don't think that's that's smart. So I don't know. We'll move on from that, but I don't think Brooks should be put into a position where he needs to, do that. Anyways, let's get away from this. Let's talk about these 2026 Zips projections. Right now, they are putting Bald Montgomery in right field for Zips. Not a clear idea of who's going to be right field, and that's why I think you should be going out and getting a free agent. It doesn't really make sense right now with their current alignment that they have a right fielder. It could be Fletcher. It could be Brooks Baldwin. It could be Braden Montgomery. Talkman was non-tendered, so I don't think it's going to be him. Derek Hill was signed to a $900,000 contract. That's the other thing, too, is like Hill's being brought in as a fourth outfielder because there's not many fourth outfielders out on the free agent market. So with Garcia, you're somewhat getting that fourth outfielder because if he's terrible at the plate, you kind of just get a decent defender that, he might not be the greatest hitter anymore, but he can at least do something. Michael A. Taylor isn't coming back. So, Garcia gives you a little bit of investment, but he also kind of gives you a floor of, if he's terrible, he could still play some defense. There's not really a guy right now in right field that's screaming, hey, we need to sign this guy. It's not frustrating, but it wouldn't be proper, I think, if they don't go out and sign some free agent for right field. If Brooks Baldwin and Alex Rude threw this out, if Brooks Baldwin has a Colson Montgomery-like level of competition in spring training like Colson did in 2024 or 2025 where he had to beat out Jacob Amaya, that I don't think is healthy competition. That is you trying to shoehorn somebody into a position, and, it's really just Brooks Baldwin. You're having Brooks Baldwin compete, but I mean, do you actually want to give Jacob Amaya the job? You only gave Jacob Amaya the job because Colson Montgomery was hurt. With them moving on from Tauchman, I think it could have been a sign of good grace because he gave them, a decent year in 2025. Maybe that's a guy that wants to go be on a playoff team in one of his last years. But also they could just be moving away from him because he had terrible legs throughout the season. I mean, one of the most popular shorts on CHGO YouTube history is Mike Tauchman pulling up a limp at home plate.
Yes.
He is. Yeah, I think
you
something
gotta be
has to
bleeping
happen.
me.
You gotta be bleeping me. And Eric, Airbud in the chat says, I hope we sign Ryan O'Hearn for first base. That's the two positions that really seem like obvious, glaring when you look at this ZiPS projection. Vargas is projected to get 1.6, and it's Vargas, Mead, and Murray are projected to get 1.6 FWAR at third base. Montgomery and Mydroth 2.7 FWAR at shortstop. Mydroth and Sosa 1.8 FWAR at second base. Sosa, Vargas, and Mead 0.7 FWAR at first base. Baldwin / Montgomery / Hill 0.9 FWAR in right field. Benny, Pereira, and Hill 0.8 FWAR in left field, and Robert 2.7 FWAR in center. Teal Caro 1.9 FWAR at catcher. The two glaring ones there are Sosa in right field, first base and right field, because you really can't do anything about Benintendi. He's making $17 million. Nobody wants him. They're not going to be able to move on from him. What can you do? You cannot force Brooks Baldwin to be a starter. He's not ready to be a major league starter. He got sent down halfway through last year because he wasn't ready to be a starter. He bounced back phenomenally, but let's give him runway to grow rather than, hey, we have super high expectations for you and give him another season where he's failing. I would rather him be kind of pissed off, have that edge of, let me be this glue guy that can fit in anywhere. There's not high expectations of me to be a Gold Glover at any of these positions, but as long as I don't make any bonehead errors and can give a decent at bat, Brooks Baldwin, I think, would be very helpful utility-wise. I think that Garcia on a one-year deal and Josh Bell on a one-year deal at first base and right field sound great to me. $15 million for the big-headed Adolis Garcia, the large cranium on that man, and then Josh Bell, that 6'4" behemoth. Let's get some guys that can possibly hit 25 homers. They might not play decent defense, or Bell might not play decent defense, but that's why Garcia is making $7 more million than him, is because Garcia is at least going to give you that floor of decent defense. Them going into 2026 with Baldwin as their starting right fielder or Sosa as their starting first baseman, danger. If it's Miguel Vargas at first base, I'd like to hear who's playing third base, but not too bad. We're going to take a break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. If you have any thoughts, hit us up in the chat. Months Behind says Garcia swings and misses a ton. He does. And again, we talked about 2023 was a lot much kinder to him with Chase. If he's able to fix that, not even if he's able to fix that, if he's just able to be decent in the first half, I don't know if it will matter that much because I don't really care about Adolis Garcia's second half because I think the White Sox trade him if he has a decent first.
And then maybe put a bow on the Brooks Baldwin conversation in terms of just the comp that Gene Watson brought it to with Ben Zobrist. Keep in mind, for the first 3 years, Ben Zobrist was that utility guy that did not have a starting spot, that averaged about 200, 220 at-bats each season and then worked his way into a regular role. So sometimes when you're talking about just handing Brooks Baldwin the job, maybe that isn't the best for a guy. Maybe it is having him learn how to hit and be efficient on a 3 game a week basis, how to be a guy that can play multiple positions and be that glue guy and plug in. That's what Ben Zobrist learned how to do, and then eventually became an everyday player, and he was an everyday player that could play multiple positions. So that could be a path also for Brooks.
And Brooks is just a baby. I mean, he is 25 now. I guess he was 25 in the middle of August, but Zobrist was making his major league debut at 25. And then had 3 years before he had that 2009 run where he was, MVP candidate.
Yeah, just a guy.
Right. So, I mean, Brooks, I think it's early for him to have those expectations. He's not even arbitration eligible, still pre-arb. give him some runway to grow and also give him some slack to fail. Because I think that, as we know, progression's not linear. I think Brooks can still have some ups and downs ahead of him. The 98 projected weighted runs created plus, I think, is very generous to him. I think Colson out hits him, and I think Teal is above 100. I mean, they're projecting Teal to be at a 98 OPS plus with a sub 400 slugging percentage. I'm not really buying that. Colson hitting 216, 292, and 410. I could see it. But I think they're projecting Colson for 23 homers. Sounds reasonable.
Okay, Zips.
But also you 23 in the second half.
Yeah. They always go like slightly underneath the expectations of the fan, as they should, right? And it's a good grounding. It's a good grounding mechanism to walk through and do the Zips exercise. But if I was a Sox fan, and based on what I saw in the second half, I do feel 25 plus for Colson is very achievable.
There's a projection of 17 doubles, 3 triples, and 23 homers. I don't know about the triples, but I could see 20 doubles and 20 homers.
Yeah, 40.
I could also see 25 and 25. I could see that average being that rough. But
if you did over under extra bases, I would definitely say over 40.5, and that's I think that you just said 43.
Yeah.
I'd say like 45 and a half would probably be something that I would hit the over on.
They're also projecting a sub 2020 season from Luis Robert Jr., sub 20 doubles and sub 20 homers. Woohoo!
Yikes.
We'll talk about it after the break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. We got to let you know about our friends over at Brunt Workwear. We still got to get the boots. Joe, we got to get the boots for the background. Come on. Brunt's best-selling Marin work boots are not only built for the toughest job sites, they're completely waterproof. Whether it's rain, mud, or standing water, your feet stay dry. We were able to put these to the test. There was the random snowstorm that possibly was going to give us 12 inches of lake effect. I think it was a little bit more north than us, but we still got some wet weather. We got them, our Brunt Workwear boots, the day of that snowstorm. We were able to test them out, completely waterproof, able to walk through the city with complete comfort. Brunt isn't just about work boots. They offer a full range of high-performance gear as well, built for tough jobs, from heavy-duty work pants to weather-resistant work jackets. Brunt designs durable, reliable workwear to keep you protected and productive in any condition. And again, choosing work boots used to mean sacrificing comfort or durability. Brunt thought that was BS, so they built tough boots that feel great from day one. You can go walk a mile in your shoes. And yes, they're working man shoes, but they don't feel like it. You'll be comforted, and you will be able to support yourself through the toughest of the tough, whether it's temps dropping or your tough job that you do have. And hey, maybe you're not treating yourself. Maybe you're treating the hardworking man in your life to real comfort. Skip the throwaway gifts and get him something built to last. Brunt Workwear. Our listeners get $10 off their entire order with code CHGO at checkout. That's bruntworkwear.com and use code CHGO. Order today and let them know you heard it here on our show. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Ray Auto Chevy. Our friends over at Ray Auto Chevy have a fantastic sale going on. All month long is Black Friday at Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake. Come in today to shop the Black Friday sales event and drive home with 10 to 30% off MSRP on new Chevrolet models, plus no payments for over 120 days. You can also check out their selection of over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. With one of Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories, you'll be sure to find the perfect vehicle for you. And with one of the top-selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, they're able to keep their prices competitive, so you'll know you'll get a great deal. With Ray's Price Promise, you can shop confidently because the price you see is the price you pay. The price you see is the price you pay. Check out their convenient location on Route 12 in Fox Lake. Don't miss out on their Black Friday sales event going on all month long for 10 to 30% off MSRP on new Chevrolet models. Shop Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive.
Let's just drive.
You want to drive? You're driving.
I want to drive.
You're going to drive in a couple days.
Time to drive.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, I'm driving in a couple days, all right.
In your Chevy. Look at you. You're driving with your Chevy. All right. Drake Foss asking a fun question. Are there any Japanese or KBO options for first base or right field? We did bring this up recently. Kazuma Akamoto. I don't know if the Sox are necessarily going to be in on him. There's Munetaka Murakami as well, but Murakami's going to be making more money. He's younger than Akamoto, about a 5-year age difference. I would be interested in Nakamoto. I just don't think that the White Sox are going to be making a splash like that. They did hire a Japanese scout, which is something that they were lacking in. David Keller has taken over international scouting for the White Sox, and that was part of their plan, building a complex in the Dominican Republic. I think that's going to be built by 2030 or so. Along with that, getting a scout in Japan, having a presence over there, and Yahoo Japan reported that the White Sox were in the stands for Akamoto's game. So not necessarily linking them to Akamoto, but a possibility. If they signed Akamoto, I'd be very happy. Again, as a very, I don't know the kindest way to, as a baseball hungry White Sox fan, I really want anything. I think you could probably give me like a Mitch Keller trade, and I'd be really happy. There isn't much that you could give me that I would pass up. I think that Akamoto would be an interesting signing, especially because the White Sox really haven't been players in that. So it's really even less about the players themselves, and it's more that the White Sox would be able to convince a player like that. You brought up specifically for first base and right field. The White Sox could possibly be in on Tatsuna Imai. I didn't think that they'd be in on Tatsuna Imai, but I guess Tatsuna Imai opened the door for the White Sox because he said recently in an interview with Japan before he starts departing for Major League Baseball, before he starts entering those discussions with Major League teams. I think he's already been posted, but I don't think discussions have happened just yet. Imai said, if there were Japanese people, they'd just tell you anything if you asked, right? I don't really want that. In a way, I want to experience that survival vibe, and when facing cultural differences, making how I overcome them on my own is one of the fun parts. Pretty much said he didn't want to play with any Japanese players. So Tatsuya Imai, your chances of becoming a White Sox have gone from 0 to 1%. And with each day, will it grow, Joey? I don't know. Imai is an interesting arm. I just, again, don't think the White Sox will be in on a player like that that's generating New York interest. Akamoto, in a similar way, is drawing interest from bigger markets that have bigger aspirations. Imai's talking about beating the Dodgers. Imai's not going to sign with the White Sox if he wants to beat the Dodgers. He wants the ability to be in postseason contention. Joey, did you have something that you wanted to say?
It's all posturing, right? At the end of the day, I think Imai probably doesn't care how many Japanese players are on the team, as long as the dollar amount makes sense, or the situation in terms of the city feels good, or the comfortability level that he has with the front office that he signs with, that they're going to not only support him with good players, but support whatever new life experience that he wants to have. So I don't know. I'm just like having like a hard time buying that. I feel like maybe he's trying to dispel that narrative of whether or not Japanese players want or don't want to play with each other, which I think has been broken into 1,000 pieces over the last couple of years. But he also just seems like a dude that has an interesting personality.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he's definitely.
I think wherever he goes,
he's got thoughts.
I think wherever he goes, I think he has a great shot at immediately becoming a fan favorite.
Yeah,
wherever he goes.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you on that. I mean, he's got thoughts and opinions, So let's hopefully it plays out for him and works out for him. I'm trying to find like players that have played that many positions like Brooks Baldwin has, and I cannot find it. So my regards on that behalf. I do think it's one of Brooks's like appeals is that he could play every single position. He's played. I'm trying to look for players that played second, third, shortstop, left, center, and right. And it's saying that no one has done that, which is weird because Brooks Baldwin has done that. So I don't know like exactly where why Brooks isn't popping up. So Brooks is one of maybe none that played that position. Maybe that's it. Whatever. We'll figure it out. That's pretty much going to do it for the CHGO White Sox podcast. Luis Rengifo? Daniel Schneemann? What are we talking about here? Schneemann. Anyways,
great name.
Hit that thumbs up button. We appreciate you joining us. We will have a show tomorrow. We'll have a show Wednesday. Jared Willis will be joining us on Wednesday. Hopefully we're in the talks of booking somebody for tomorrow. So hopefully we'll be able to bring that to you tomorrow. Hopefully there's some White Sox news. I mean, hey, just give me another Steven Wilson trade. Give me something I could sink my teeth into. I got to get back into the Rule 5 players and start seeing what sickos we're going to pick up in the Rule 5 draft. I don't know if it's going to be Adolis Garcia. I hate to break it to you,
I was going to say, we don't want to get to the point where it's like, Damaso Marte, greatest setup man ever?
Best setup man ever?
Cliff Polite was a problem?
Cliff Polite?
Yeah.
Cliff Polite was a problem, man. Hey, come catch these Cliff Polite hands. Here's the final count. Sorry for belaboring this. Players in 2025 that played at least 5 games at second base, third base, shortstop, left, center, and right field. Daniel Schneemann of the Cleveland Guardians, Brooks Baldwin, and Willie Castro. Those were the players in 2025 that at least were able to play, 6 different positions at least for 5 games. And then this is since 2021, Chris Taylor, Daniel Schneemann, Brooks Baldwin, Willie Castro again in 2022. That Taylor one was in 2021. Leary Garcia, we're talking about White Leary here in Brooks Baldwin. Leary Garcia did it in 2021. Schneemann again in 2024. Dubon in 2024. Mateo in 2021. Jorge Mateo in 2021. Garrett Hampson in 2023. And Tyler Wade in 2021. Not the best of the bunch, but Chris Taylor made himself a very, very valuable asset of that Dodger team because he was able to play anywhere at any time and help that team out. And we saw Leary obviously be valued with the White Sox, probably overvalued. Maybe shouldn't have been the starter, and maybe more at least in that utility role. But we saw the somewhat positive effects that Leary had. Brooks has the 4th highest OPS for a player that played at least 5 positions. So if he's able to increase on that and get over that 100 OPS plus level, he could be where Chris Taylor was or Ben Zobrist was. If he's able to be a 2.5 WAR player, that's a huge victory for the White Sox, where he plays 5 separate positions rather than one singular position, and he really needs to, especially if he's in right field. He hit a ton of homers. A 10-homer right fielder that isn't playing like above average defense isn't really the guy that you want. But there's 3 more minutes on Brooks Baldwin. We're going to wrap it up on the CHGO White Sox podcast. Thank you to Goop Like Soup, Months Behind, Drake, Airbud Nick Fan for hanging out with us. TS, appreciate hanging out with you. STC saying, unless he's playing for free, he's out of Jerry's price range. Haha. We'll make less than Luis Robert Jr., who's already on the team. And KJ, appreciate KJ Russ's thoughts about the 1 year, $17 million. We're going to wrap it up here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. We will talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye.
We all silly like the mayor.